Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. It has been a bit since I've actually recorded in a proper way. I have recorded before and completely forgot to, my microphone wasn't on. And what are you doing? Why don't you wave or something? Flash your lights. He's just sitting there. Well, self-driving seemed to figure it out. I think I'm going to leave that in the video just so I can, anyone who may watch this can kind of see or get a feel for what would happen in those situations where, a situation where I'm waiting to turn left and someone's trying to wave me on. But he didn't flash his lights. He didn't wave his hand. He just sat there and hoped that I would figure out that it was okay for me to go. And I think I got to a point where I understood that that's what he was trying to do. But I wanted to see what self-driving would do. So with that said, I am actually using full self-driving. I'm heading up northern Mass. Close to the New Hampshire border to a friend's birthday party, and I'm using full self-driving to take me there. I was going to go a different route and, to avoid going through downtown Boston as much as possible. But there doesn't seem to be any route that's just going to be fast, or they're all going to be about the same. The route that I usually like to go, it would be the difference of me getting there within an hour and 10 minutes versus like an hour and 40 minutes. So, it's a pretty warm day in Boston today. So there's probably, it's summertime. Everyone's out and about, and with that comes traffic. That's just the way it is. So we're going to use full self-driving, or I'm going to use full self-driving to bring me all the way there. And there was just an instance there where someone was trying to tell me to go, and instead of just going themselves, and I think we all do it where we're trying to be nice, but I looked behind the driver. There were no other cars. So, and maybe I'll go back and watch this video and see that there were some other cars, but from my short-term memory there were no other cars. So he wasn't doing me a favor. All he needed to do was go, and then I would have been able to make my turn. But he wanted to wave me on. I get it. Maybe he was just being nice. But full self-driving eventually made made that left turn, and it all worked out, and not the end of the world. I'm also using Waze, and I'm not sure if that came through, but, notifying me of speed bumps, which is actually really nice. And it also reminded me that, so I wear Ray-Ban Metas when I'm driving. I have them prescription sunglasses, and it reminded me that I didn't have them turned on. There's this restaurant, Chilicates. There's another one on maybe 4 or 5 blocks up the road. So interesting that there's more than one, or maybe they're moving, and that's one of the two are the new locations. But there's a speed bump that I was warned about. In this area, there's actually a lot of speed bumps, which makes sense. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of people walking. It's a very walk-friendly city. So that makes sense, because unfortunately, even in areas like this where you can easily tell that there are a lot of people walking around, people will zoom. So speed bumps are absolutely needed. But I'm using full self-driving. It seems to still be triggering the windshield wipers here and there for what I believe to be no reason. And someone was stopped at the light just now, probably stopped to look down on their phone, and decided that they wouldn't look up again until someone honked their horn. Just playing. They probably just looked down and got lost in whatever they were looking at. And then the rest of us, I was just like, hey, bruv, you need to get it moving. That was kind of corny. But anyways, full self-driving has been great. I've been using it just to get around my area when I need to. The Facebook groups and Reddit groups and all of that, I've been seeing people saying that it's not great right now. It needs some work, and on the latest update. And so I think, obviously people say a lot of things online, but I think because I currently have the update waiting and I haven't downloaded it yet, my current software is 14.2.2.5. So I'm just going to wait, because I've seen a lot of people actually saying that it does a lot of like quirky things that seem a bit off. So I'm just going to wait. I have a really long trip coming up, or a long drive coming up this week. And I'm going to do about 8 hours of driving each way. So a total of 16 hours. And the way it is now is good for me, minus the windshield wipers just randomly triggering, which seems to be a problem that have plagued Teslas for the longest time. I know some people will say it's not a problem, and other people will say it is a problem. There's clearly an issue there. Like it's okay to point out issues with a car that you love, or anything that you love. It doesn't mean you don't love it still, but it's okay to be like, yo, love this thing, but can we please fix this? And for a car as smart as it is, windshield wipers feels like one of those things that would just work. But yeah, I am going up north, closer to the border of New Hampshire, if you're familiar. Going up to a city called, as I like to say it, Haverhill, but I'm always corrected about the pronunciation of the name. But yeah, so going to hang out with a friend and celebrate their birthday and just have a good day. Food should be good. I'm bringing them a gift. It is this beer called Lunch by a brewing company called Maine. So we typically just say Maine Lunch. It is absolutely delicious if you like beer, like IPAs. I don't get super nerdy about, the kind of IPAs, but I just know it tastes good. One bottle may or may not get you a little buzzed, and it's a really good beer, but unfortunately it is really expensive. Like I bought 2 bottles and that was like $20. So I hope she enjoys it. But back to Tesla. Yeah, it's been over a year that I've had this car now officially, and it still feels great. I still look for reasons to drive it, to mess around in the settings, to change things. Recently, I lowered my seat a little bit. This doesn't sound like the most like hot information, but I lowered my seat a little bit, and also leaned it back a little bit, and it's felt more comfortable to drive. I think I had my seat up way too high, so when I was going around corners or making a turn, it felt like my body was kind of leaning over. And now it just feels so much more comfortable, which is wild because I've had this car now over a year, and it's just one of those things that you learn something new all the time. So I'm sitting a little bit lower. Maybe I'll change my mind in a couple months. Sometimes you got to move things around in different places just to kind of make it feel fresh. So that's where I am right now, and I'm pretty happy with it. I feel comfortable, especially with full self-driving. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like sometimes you might need a profile for when you're driving versus when it's full self-driving. Because with full self-driving, you can kind of like sit back and relax a little bit more. And maybe that's why I felt like I needed to adjust the seating. But I feel like it would be cool to have a profile for when you're driving, or for when full self-driving is doing its thing. So I don't know. It's just a random thought, but yeah, it's been great. I love driving this car even without full self-driving. It feels really just good to maneuver in this car. I don't know if it's the Model 3 because it's a smaller car that can like whip around, that sports car feel. But I did test drive the Model Y, and I feel like I had that feeling with it as well. My steering wheel is on like the standard setting, like the in-between setting. It's not as floaty, or it's not super stiff. But yeah, I have the in-between setting, and even when I'm just driving manually, it just feels really good to drive. It's super responsive when you turn the wheel, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I thought that, the speed gauge being on the screen on the right would be a problem and it would be distracting, but nope, that wasn't an issue. I love the placement of that as well. Just like what's in front of me is just clear. So yeah, I'm super happy with this car. As I've mentioned before, the only thing that I think I would have done differently, well, there are two things that I've mentioned before that I would have maybe done differently, but the thing that if I could go back and absolutely change it would be to get all-wheel drive instead of just getting the rear-wheel drive. But it really, I've mentioned before, spoke to the Tesla sales reps, and really what it comes down to is, one, I was told don't waste my money on it, because as long as I'm not out here driving in snow all day, then you don't need it. And they meant snow on the ground. And one of the most important things I think that they asked was, are you driving often when there's when the snow is falling? And I said yes. I said no. And then the other thing that I thought was a really good question is, are your roads paved? And, even where I used to live, my roads were paved. They're not as paved as often as they are here in Boston. And if you can see from this video, the state of the roads here clearly show that they've been paved, because, I know there are other factors, but part of what leads to the roads being looking as bad as they do now is salt and all these other things, tow trucks and whatever it may be. So all of that contributes to the destruction of the roads. But yeah, and so I got rear-wheel drive, but I would have loved to have the safety of all-wheel drive. Not the safety, the perceived convenience of all-wheel drive, which is that, when there's snow on the ground, it can give you that little bit of boost that you might need to get out of a snow patch, or, the additional control that you could get. Yeah. So that would be the one thing I changed. I think, I've got like another 2 years on my lease, and my plan is to buy this car out when the lease is done, because I am pretty happy with the car. If in another 2 years there's a significant update, then I'll consider it. But, that federal tax credit was a huge selling point for the car. $7,500 from the federal and $3,500 from the state, which is still very helpful. But $7,500 is nothing to mess with. I know Tesla has set it up to kind of factor that in. So, I know you're not supposed to focus on payments, but that's what it'd be like, It's just for the average person, that's what is important, is your monthly payments, because you then factor it in with the other monthly payments that you have to make. Your rent, mortgage, phone bill, utility, all those other utilities. So, yeah, it is important. But, yeah, it really just depends on what's available. I think, for me, the cost, and to determine if it's worth switching. And if I did switch, I'd probably consider the Model Y, or whatever iteration of the Model Y is available. The Model Y, probably all-wheel drive, or just another Model 3, but definitely go with all-wheel drive just to play it safe. Yeah, we're currently going. We're really close to downtown. Well, not really close. We are in downtown Boston right now, and as I've mentioned before, a lot of people traffic, and it's a warm day. It's 89 degrees. I did not realize it was going to be that hot today, and it was almost as if, because here in Boston it has been maybe 75 degrees. The other day it was 68 degrees as a high temperature. It definitely rained, so that was part of the reason why the temp was low. But it's been a super cool, like July in Boston has been super cool. Like there wasn't a day where I didn't, it's hot, but I think the highest would probably be like 85 degrees. We did have like a week, I think that was in June though, where we were high 90s. But I think it was high 90s across the country, the United States. And but for the most part, it's been a pretty mild summer. But it was almost as if the temperature realized it was August and then completely shift, because today 89 degrees. I think tomorrow is going to be about the same. And then it's going to be like mid to high 80s. So can't really complain. That's what it's supposed to do in August. So I'm pretty happy about that. Sorry. Let me take that back really quick. I am not happy about that, but it's normal. So I'm happy that it's normal. I'm happy that it's the average. And I think summers in Boston are very short. This box truck can't seem to figure out what it wants to do with its life. But yeah, I'm glad the temperature is doing what it's supposed to do. But anyways, I feel like I've been yapping for a while now. I don't want to make a super long video, and I think it's been maybe 20 minutes and I'm still in Boston. So goes to show you how difficult it is to get through Boston sometimes. I haven't even made it to the highway. Oh look, it is a Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive. I was actually thinking about getting the blue variation as well. But yeah, there's a lot of people who turned in the left lane and now are going to hold up traffic because they wanted to get into the right lane because they didn't make correct life choices. But it'd be like that. I'm going to just let full self-driving do its thing. If it wants to let people in, then it will. And if it doesn't, then that's on them. And so I decided to let this Tahoe in. Maybe they saw the blinker. I can appreciate people trying to get over, though, with the blinker. They let you know ahead of time instead of just, like, cutting you off. But what I dislike is when folks decide they're going to hold up. I'm telling you, this is people. He went through all of that, held up traffic so that he could get all the way over, then goes into one lane and then cuts back over. This is sometimes why you just don't let people in, because it's that thing where they're gonna make you pay for their mistakes as well. And they buy these big cars because they feel worried. I think I just got a notification about an accident, but yeah, unfortunately, this is the way people drive. They're in these bigger cars and they feel like they can just maneuver, and they can't. They buy these bigger cars because they like the way they look, but they don't know how to maneuver in them. They also just don't know how to, like, road etiquette, Instead of, like, figuring it out ahead of time, they just figure it out as they go. But anyways, I am about to, I believe this is Charles River right here. People are canoeing, and at this point it's just going to be a lot of highway driving, and full self-driving did what I mainly wanted it to do, and that was to get me onto the service road, and then I will eventually get on 93 and I will go over the Tobin Bridge, and then life will be good because it'll just be really easy driving from there. Highway driving, it's so much more comfortable than city driving, per usual. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, definitely leave a comment if you'd like. If you're thinking about getting a Tesla, highly recommend that you just download the app, schedule a test drive. It's simple. They're not super aggressive like, your typical salesperson at a car dealership. They'll let you test drive it for 2 hours and you can come back, hand it back in. They'll ask you how it goes, and then you can just be on your way. It is as simple as that. So go ahead and definitely do that. Highly recommend that you do it because it's a great car. I love it. And I think most people are happy with their purchases, and this person is having trouble staying in their lane. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. At this time, I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect because I think I have another 15 minutes of driving, and I don't want this video to be super long. I think I'm going to try and be a little bit more focused next time when I'm making a video. Maybe talk a lot more about the car, or I don't know. I think sometimes I go in with the intention of talking more about the car, and then I just start rambling about other things, and yeah, life happens. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut this and move on, and then I'm going to listen to some music. But anyways, thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you later. I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your day and a great weekend.